doing this, Jay, huh? Can you see me? Cliffy, can you see me? You can see me? Hey, everybody, thank you. You would think, people, you would think after 50, 50. Thank you, Cliff Hillis. You would think after 50 episodes that I would actually get this stuff right, but no. I show up anyway. I was dancing around to Christmas music to try to get my blood moving. Hi, Craig. Hi, Charles. Hi, Cliff. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Oh my gosh. Welcome to episode 50. This is going to be insider joke, but the Sally O'Malley episode. Because I can bend and I can stretch. Because I'm 50. Yes, it is crazy. Debbie, nice to see you. Pardon me as I get myself all situated here. I got my squeaky chair. I've been dancing in it. So thank you everybody for showing up. Oh my gosh, we got our first snowstorm last night. So cool. And it's kind of strange because when you work from home, you could call out sick on yourself or snow day. So I kind of did. But yeah, everything looks different and cold and beautiful. So I'm kind of getting in that winter, that Christmas spirit. I know, Jeff Cooper, the big 5-0. Charles, actually, thank you for pointing that out. No, I started these Facebook Lives, and you can actually go and check them on the Retro Roadmap Facebook video tab. Go all the way to the beginning, and you'll see the very first one I did where I'm like, hey, everybody, I don't know what the heck is going on. Jody Baker Share, nice to get you snow day up in Mass, awesome. But I started this on really basically, what was it, St. Pat's, when it was middle of March. We all had no idea what was going on. And so I was just like, dudes, I don't know what am I, like a surfer kid? I don't know what's going on, but I know that I can connect to you because of the Facebooks and stuff like that, all of y'alls, as I would like to say. So I said, I'm just going to show up. I don't know even what it's going to happen. So the reason that this is episode 50, and we have 50 states, but there's one episode left. There's one episode left because the first episode, I was just figuring stuff out. I didn't even have the idea of covering one state at a time. And then I hit on that. And then the funny thing was, I have to share with you, then I was like, okay, yeah, this will be kind of fun. And then I was like, 50 states? Lynn is watching. Evan is watching. I love this. I'm like the lady on Romper Room with her little thing, you know, her little mirror or whatever. Mirror. Listen to me. Wherever it was. So yes, so this is episode 50, but there's one more episode left. And then I'll be honest, I get some ideas for 2021. They don't include doing Facebook Lives at the outset, but you guys will know. So today, I feel like I gotta use something. I moved some stuff, just real quick. I moved some stuff around the house, the Hacienda, because we have Christmas gifts up, not gifts, but Christmas decorations up, and this globe. So check it out, you guys. Look at this. I love this. So we started, instead of me showing you my printed out thing that's getting so ratty, because I have showed it to you for every 50. Well, I'll show it now. I feel bad if I don't show you. But this right here, yeah, this I printed out like 9 months ago. Started over here in Maine, at the very east of the country, and then we literally have, you guys, we have been actually DC. There's really not. There's like 2 places. There's like the Tune In. There was Ollie's Trolley, the Chili Bowl. Yes, I think I put the DC things in with Maryland. Listen to me, Maryland Monroe, Maryland. In any case, you and I, we have all been on a road trip together, huh? So now we are over here on the West Coast. We are up here in Oregon, Origami. And I'm going to tell you some places about this, and then not next week, because next week, today, Thursday of next week is Christmas Eve day. I know we're all going to be chaotic and busy and just being like, oh my God, Santa's coming. So this following week will be New Year's Eve day, but that's not as chaotic as Christmas. So I will show up. That's also my dad's birthday. So Ann Canton, I saw you show up. Hey, nice to see you. And any case, so we have, today is going to be Oregon, and then I saved California for last because I don't know about you, maybe it's because I watched too much TV as a child, but to me, California is the place you ought to be. And so I'm loading up my truck and moved to Beverly Hills. I don't know, maybe, you never know. I was going to say no, but you never know. In any case, yes, this is kind of memorabilia. Yeah, I'll sell this on the eBays for like $1. But so we are talking about Oregon. I'm probably going to mispronounce something. I was thinking about that today. Like every day, I'm just qualifier of what I'm going to, who knows what I'm going to mispronounce next. So this is the whole state. This is a print of my Google map. That is one of my things, just as a quick aside, a kind of mental note to myself for 2021, if I do any more videos, I think they might be on Zoom. And the reason I say that, I'm cluing you into this, is because I feel really goofy showing you just like this picture of dots and then talking for an hour. Now, as you know, because I've done that every single week, I can fill an hour with gabbing, but it's so much better when you see the pictures of these places that I'm showing you. So I want to incorporate visuals into any kind of video I do. So there'll probably be some Zooms, maybe a Patreon page. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So the neat thing about Oregon is that I've actually been there. Retro Road Husband and I were there a number of years ago, and we flew. It was actually kind of funny, and this is a tip. This is kind of a travel tip when it's all safe to be traveling again. Very safe, when it's very safe to travel when you are in a plane. So check us out. We wanted to get to Portland, and there were no direct flights from Philly, right? So we realized we could do a flight from Philly. Matt Lober, nice to see you. We did a Philly trip. We went from Philly to San Francisco, and then San Francisco, we just kind of popped up to Portland. So the neat thing is that we have friends in San Francisco, and I made it so that we had a really long distance between our two flights. So this was great. We fly to San Francisco, we get out of the plane, we get our luggage, our friend comes and picks us up. Our friend, she was driving, but we called her, and then she was driving, and then she picked us up at the airport. We load everything in, we go into the city. We were able to go to Original Joe's and get some food, and then we were able to go to, oh crap, now I'm going to call it the Tonga Hut, but it's not the Tonga Hut. Any tiki people, if you know. Lynn, nice to see you. Oh crap, what's the name of that place in the Fairmont Hotel? It's the tiki bar, and it has the barge where the band floats on the water. I'm totally blanking on this. Tonga Room, maybe? In any case, we were able to go and do a smidge of San Francisco before we then got back on the plane and went up to our technical destination. So you might want to look at how you can use some of your layovers to your own devices. Thank you, Evan. I was hoping you would say that. Yes, it's the Tonga Room. Leslie, you're right. The Tonga Room, not the Tonga Hut, even though I've been to the Tonga Huts, actually. But you'll hear about them in a couple of weeks, okay? So in any case, what I want to do is I want to tell you about, oops, there goes the map. I want to tell you about some of the places that we absolutely loved when we were in Portland and driving around Oregon, and some places that I actually am wicked psyched about because I ended up discovering them because of doing these videos. Like I'll be honest, I'm not that motivated. So unless I am traveling to a place, I usually don't do my research until I actually have a reason to. And that's why I have to thank you all for showing up for the past 50 episodes, because you gave me the reason for doing my research for every state. And so now pretty much I've got almost like a rough draft of, if anybody said, where should I go here? Or do you want to pitch a book series? I got it, people. Got it right here. Got it right here. Okay, so kind of like last week where I said if I only had 2 words to tell you about a state, and then all of a sudden like the power went off, because it's snow, and I left you with this, I would feel good. So I'm starting out with the heavy hitters. Jeff Cooper, that's awesome. Yeah, 49 episodes of Oregon before. Waka waka. That's me. I joke that I went to the Fozzie Bear School of Television and Radio. So if there was seriously one place I could send you in all of Oregon, it's got to be Oaks Park Amusement Park, and not, the park is good. If you like amusement parks, you're good. But I got 2 words for you, 3 syllables. More syllables than that. Roller skating. Google this place, Oaks Park roller skating. Oh, I did a write-up of it, so it's on retroroadmap.com. I think there's some video. You will see me on roller skates. This place, oh, I just almost cried when I went in there. It's so freaking awesome and beautiful and old school. The park itself has been open since 1905, and like, this is the thing that I love so much about their roller skating rink, is it's not retro roller skating like in like the 80s. Like a lot of places now, they're like, oh, it's a vintage roller skating place. And then I'm like, oh, that's just like it is back when I was a kid. This is very old, like 100+ years old. And it's got this gleaming, beautiful, shiny wood floor. The shiny wood floor that actually has cushions underneath it, and it's actually floats a bit because sometimes it has flooded in its history. And the wonderful, best, most awesome part about roller skating at Oaks Park in Portland, Oregon, is the fact that they have live Wurlitzer pipe organ music. There's a guy playing the music, and the speakers are kind of levitated. They're hanging above the roller skating rink, and they've got these neat neon signs that say, like, you know, reverse curve or ladies' choice or partners only and all that. It was like stepping back into another era. And then it was so fun too, because the music is on the pipe organ, you know, like the theater organ, you know, and it was just like, it was fun playing Name That Tune, because they would do some, like, you know, like, I don't know, like, you know, it's been a hard day's night. So it was wicked fun. Hey, Brian, welcome back to PA. Nice to see you. I can imagine if we got the snow up here, Mass totally got the snow, huh? But Oaks Amusement Park roller skating rink, Oaks Park, okay? They also have a vintage carousel. Craig Nye, I know you like those. Debbie, I know you like those too. But if there was one place I would show you, boom, we're done. But guess what? We got more than just 5 minutes to talk about it, so I got a whole bunch more places to tell you. Sorry, I'm all excited. Remember last week, everybody who showed up last week, my one word for Washington State was this somebody's last name, McMenamins. McMenamins is, I want you to remember that for Oregon too, because here's the deal. They also, so for those of you who missed it, McMenamins is a family-owned and operated like brew pub. It started as a craft brewery, but they have blossomed into this most wonderful place where they take old buildings and they revitalize them. They make them into hotels. They make them into brew pubs. They make them into tiki bars. They make them into restaurants. They make them into all sorts of things. Oh my God, hold on. Hold the phone. Wait, not Roller World. Roland. Jody. Roland, maybe? That's where I remember we used to go to in Norwood. So Jody and I, we grew up in the same town. So there's that. Okay, where was I? I wasn't in Norwood, Mass, going to Roland. I am in Portland, Oregon, and I need to tell you about, so McMenamins. So if there's, just Google it, because they have so many places. I could spend the entire episode talking about their places, but they often take cool old buildings and they revitalize them interestingly. Case in point, when we went to Portland, we stayed one night in a really boring, cheap hotel near the airport, saving a couple of bucks. But here's the takeaway. We stayed at this place. We stayed one night at McMenamins Kennedy School. Okay? Not like a Kennedy, I am a Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. I don't know if it's related to Johnny Kennedy. Johnny, listen to me. I got my mask coming up because I'm so excited. But there was a Kennedy School, was a school that was opened in 1915. It was in this little neighborhood, and then cute little building, and then it went on hard times and kids moved and they got better schools and stuff like that. Long story short, because I can make a long story long, is McMenamins renovated this school into a hotel. And so you can actually stay in rooms that used to be classrooms. So like we stayed in a room that used to be a classroom, and it had a chalkboard And they're really cool rooms too. Like they're interestingly decorated. They've got art all over the place. Let me just read what they wrote because they can probably, you know, tell you about it better than I do. It's Portland's most unique hotel. 57 guest rooms with private baths and telephones. And some of the rooms are from original classrooms with chalkboards and cloakrooms. Yes, we had a cloakroom too with sliding doors. So you could put your stuff in the cloakroom. A restaurant, multiple small bars, movie theater, soaking pool, gift shop, and a brewery, and original artwork. So this place, here's the takeaway. And this is one of those, again, I'm giving you kind of like Maud Betty's, like, drive your life and, you know, kind of treat your life like a road trip, because here's the deal. Remember I just said earlier we saved a couple of bucks by staying at the place at the airport? I can't even remember what that place was. It was so boring. It was actually way out of town, so we had to drive into town a lot. But we spent more staying at McMenamins, but that money that we spent on the room, like it has repaid itself so much in fond memories that we have of that thing, and it turned our trip into so much more memorable because we stayed in a memorable place. And that was kind of a revolution for me, because for years I'd be like, it doesn't matter where you stay because all you're doing is sleeping and taking a shower there, until I clued in to a place like McMenamins Kennedy School, that the place you stay can just extend the awesomeness of your trip. So think about that when you are going traveling yourself, and look for the interesting, cool places to stay, because they may cost a couple of shekels more, but those dollars and shekels and cents and, you know, pesos will repay themselves in the memories that you have and the stories you tell. Like I'm telling you right now, that story. I'm not telling you about the boring beige place we stayed at, you know? So word to the wise, stay in the cool places. So there's that. There's another place I could go on, as I said. Yes, totally, Jody, the TWA Hotel. Actually, you know what's funny here? Let me actually see right, it's kind of backwards right there. I got my TWA bag. This is totally off topic, but since it's standing right here. Ooh, isn't this nice? Next time I go to the TWA, I'm taking this baby right here. A couple of bottles of whiskey smuggled in there. I got my slippers. Got my TWA slippers from when we stayed there. Yeah, I'm ready, people. Are you ready to travel like I'm ready to travel? But I digress. Gosh, I digress. I digress a lot. It's fun. Okay, so we were talking about McMenamins. They have a lot of places in Portland and in Oregon and Washington State. And there's one place, they have a place like, for example, the Baghdad Theater. Now, the Baghdad Theater, glorious, beautiful, old movie house, movie palace practically, opened in 1927. Fell on hard times. McMenamins came up, and now it is not only a theater, but it's a restaurant and it's a pub, and you can do all sorts of fun things. So I could go on about them. I just wanted to mention that one, though, but there are plenty. Okay, yes, I'm so glad to see that people are like chomping at the bit like I am to go safely travel. If you go to Portland, there's also a bunch of cool theaters. The Laurelhurst Theater was built in 1923. Glorious. If you like neon like I like neon, they get this glorious neon facade, and it's got almost like a tiara, kind of like a, I don't know, just, it's crazy. When you see it, it's glorious, and it's all lit up so beautiful that they are, you know, they appreciate the old school stuff there. And then I was talking earlier about the Tonga Room. The Tonga Room is a tiki bar in San Francisco. I'll mention that on the 31st when we do our California episode. But I want to highlight two awesome tiki bars in Portland, okay? Exactly, Craig. Hale Pele. So Hale Pele is not a vintage tiki bar, but I love it so much. We had such a fun time there. It is a new tiki bar, but it's got that old vibe with the thatch roofs and the tiki drinks, and you can actually get some really good food and apps there. And at a certain time every day, they will do a thing where all of a sudden you'll sit there, and all of a sudden the lights will get low. The lights will get low. And then it's like there's a storm and there's like lightning. There's lightning. And they do this thing where it's like you're caught almost like in a little indoor like, storm, like a tropical storm. And it's kind of fun. And then, yes, Michael, I see, and Tanya, the Alibi. The Alibi is wicked fun too. So the Alibi is the other tiki bar that I wanted to mention. I am so glad I am with like minds here, because the Alibi is Portland's original tiki bar, opened in 1947. Fun place. You walk in, if I remember correctly, the entrance is like a rum barrel. I'm like this. You can't see my hands. Where's my other hand? Oh, where's my other hand? It's like a rum barrel. You walk in. They've got a great fun kind of neon and flickering light sign out the front. You can get your tiki drinks on. They also have food there, and they have karaoke. And that's a deadly combination in the Maud Betty world, because because when I start drinking, I start singing. Even when I'm not drinking, I start singing, as you all know. So yes, so the Alibi, I gotta recommend that too. Wicked fun tiki bar. And if I'm not mistaken, it looks like we might have either some locals or people who know Portland in the comments. I am remembering the Palms Motel as being almost practically across the street from the Alibi. They're I was gonna say wicked close. They're wicked close, if not right across the street. Now, I mentioned that, oh, it's a coconut. Okay, I thought it was a rum barrel, but I knew it was round. So thank you. And Laura, I heard about the Cliff House. I'm married to a cliff and we're busted up about the Cliff House. So thank you for breaking the news to me, because I know you're a local out there in the San Fran area. In any case, the Palm Motel, Palms, not palm, but palms. Actually, it's like palm trees. Palm trees in Portland, Oregon. Who'd have figured? I'm not necessarily recommending this place to stay. Now, your mileage may vary, but read the comments online and you decide if it's a kind of place for you. Where I am recommending it is because it has one of the literally probably the most spectacular neon signs that I've seen in a really long time. It has got this wonderful combination of two neon palm trees, right? And then it's got this arrow, and it's got these flickering lights. They call them chasing lights because they go off and on, and it looks like it's like, it's all moving. And then, oh my gosh, it's got a neon monkey. A neon monkey is climbing the neon palm tree at the Palms Motel. So get your camera, get your, nobody has a camera anymore. Get your phone, take a picture, maybe stay there, maybe not. But it's such an iconic sign. You don't see spectacular signs like that anymore. So love them up and take a picture while you can. They're great for Instagram. Hashtag that puppy and you're gonna be famous, all right? So that is the Palms Motel. Yes, and the monkey slays me. Where are we? Oh, we're still in Portland, because here's the deal. I spent some time in Portland. I promise I'm gonna get to some other places, but there is so much in a concentrated area. Now, Debbie had mentioned Jack Giacomo, it's nice to see you. Debbie had mentioned last week Voodoo Donuts, and Voodoo Donuts is known for their crazy donuts. They've got ones that have like Fruity Pebbles on them and stuff like that. Totally go there if you like those fancy kind of over-the-top donuts. That's a place to go. They're very iconic. The place I will recommend, however, if you want like a classic old school, like a bear claw, or like just a honey dipped, honey glazed, your standard really, but done really well. This place called Annie's Donuts. Annie's Donuts, it's got this great kind of old school donut shop vibe, very unpretentious, and wicked good donuts. So Annie's Donuts. Couple of fun places to eat high end. We didn't get to these places, but Huber's Cafe is in Portland, is an American eatery, a clubby bar. It's got a clubby bar. And it founded in 1879, known for their roast turkey and Spanish coffee. Now, when I mentioned that, it reminded me to remind you that even though I talk about these places as if they are open regular hours and everything right now, when I did do my research, I made sure that at least for now, they were open, or what I would say is preserved in amber. Because there are some places that are kind of open right now because of what's going on in the country and the world, but you don't know, they may not be open now, but they're not like permanently closed. So this is what I'm saying. I am speaking about these places as if you could hit the road and go there right now, but do your due diligence. If you are seriously planning on going to any of these places, literally look at their websites, look at their Facebook pages, call them up, make sure they're open when you want, so you don't want to be disappointed, okay? Because I could have done my research 2 hours ago, and right now they could have been like, yeah, you know, we decided to just close until things get better. So that's just kind of covers all of the videos. I mean, think about it. I talked about places in Maine in March, and now who knows, like my stuff is out of date. That's the bummer about writing books. Like, see my retro roadmap books up here? For sale at retroroadmap.com/shop. That some of those places that I wrote about are gone for good. Ooh, I love this, Jeffrey and Tanya. Thank you so much for putting the recommendations for Portland, and I open it up to everybody else too. Is if you have places in Oregon that you know of that you want other people to know about, throw them in the comments section. I will get them if I can keep up. But if not, they will also stick around in the comments when I post the Facebook. I post the video to the Facebook page for people who can't see it live like we are right now. So share your wealth. I love that. I don't mind if you're kind of chatting in the comments while I'm gabbing, not like a teacher saying, shush, it's just me. Frankly, I love the interaction. So thank you so much for doing that. Where was I? So Cubers. I'm thinking the Long Island. It might be long. Okay, good to know. Interesting. The other fancy-ish kind of place that we didn't get to go to is Dan and Louie's or Lewis's Oyster Bar, established seafood restaurant with nautical decor. And this is, I grabbed somebody else's thing, but they said slinging oysters and chowder since 1907. And I think if you're slinging oysters and slinging chowder, you're going to make a mess. But oysters and chowder, sounds good. If you are more of a casual dining person, I would love to send you to Signal Station Pizza. Now, I'm sure the pizza is fine, but the real reason I'm sending you there is because you're a retro road mapper and you love the fact that Signal Station Pizza is an old school gas station. It's got a cool little neon top. It's got a place where the cars used to drive through that you can sit under when the weather's nice and eat your slice there. So that's Signal Station Pizza in Portland. Vintage gas station. Wicked fun. If you are done with the eating, because I know I tend to lead with my stomach when I go traveling, a couple of fun places to go that are not 100% food related. One is Powell's City of Books. Powell's City of Books is the largest used and new bookstore in the world. My Betty loves her some books. It occupies an entire city block and houses approximately 1 million books. I would not want to be the person who was counting all the books at Powell's or doing inventory. But if you like books like Maud Betty loves books, maybe they'll have some retro road map books in there someday, just saying. Or like Maud Betty's like road trip guide to life, just drive your life. Oh, that would be a fun thing for me to aspire to, huh? Mental note, 2021, let's make some fun stuff happen, huh? The other place I feel like I got to show you, there's plenty of places. Like I am just giving you like just a little sprinkling of Portland, but you could spend weeks there and not hit every place that I think is pretty neat. But the one goofy place I will leave you to is Stark's Vacuum Museum. So Stark's Vacuum Cleaner Museum is in Stark's Vacuum Store, and it showcases over 100 vacuums from the late 1800s to the 1960s. And for the amount of time that I actually use my own vacuum, it might as well be in a museum itself. So that's Stark's Vacuum Museum in Portland. Now we got to branch out because we have, oh, I dropped my map. We have the whole state of Oregon to get to, and we have a half an hour. So I'm going to kind of hit the ground running, but I'm going to give you the best places first, okay? This place you're going to love. It's called The Vintages. It's in Dayton, Oregon, and it is a wonderful kind of motel experience. But get this, people. Every single room is a vintage camper. Now, I have written and stayed in a couple of places like this, and I just love it because, like, I don't know if you're like me and you have always dreamed of owning a vintage camper. I actually have one, but it's wicked small. It's like, you know, so it's fun to go and stay in the old school ones that you might not be able to afford or keep fit in your house. Like ours barely fits in our garage, but it's just so much fun to almost Goldilocks it up and say, oh, what vintage camper do I want to stay in? So this is the Vintages in Dayton. They have 35 trailers with 23 different styles, anything from a 1947 Spartan Manor, which means something to some people in the vintage camper biz, or like Airstreams. Everybody knows Airstreams, or Shastas. You know the Shastas, the ones with the wings. So if you want to have that experience of staying in a cool vintage trailer without actually having to buy one and move it and all that type of stuff, the Vintages in Dayton, Oregon is a place that I would totally send you to. So there's that. Tanya, thank you for the McMenamins. Yes, there are a ton of McMenamins. My own list has got a stack, but I figured I want to branch out. So if I give you that one word, googly googleson, and then you can do that. Couple of places in Ashland. Ashland, like we got an Ashland in Massachusetts. Omar's Fresh Seafood and Steaks. This place attracted me because when I looked it up online, I saw that I had a really cool neon sign, totally old school, and I was right. It's been open since 1946, and Omar's Fresh Seafood and Steaks in Ashland is a steakhouse, cocktail lounge, serving beef and seafood and burgers, and I just love that kind of old school vibe. If you're there, this was funny. I just had to share with you because I don't know if these are adjectives that I would normally use or be attracted to, but if you're in Ashland, there's the Ashland Springs Hotel. It's open since 1925, and it's an oasis of gentility and elegance. And many of you have seen me show up every week in a row since March, and I don't know if genteel or elegant would be adjectives you would use to talk about Maud Betty, but I just thought that was kind of neat. It's kind of luxurious, elegant, and splendid, and continues the early tradition of luxury hotels from back in the day. So there's that. So that was kind of really old school. Now I'm going to get into probably one of the most modern, what do I want to call it, retro road mapping places, because it's just so funny. But Bend, Oregon has the last Blockbuster Video in the world. It's still open. I'm going to repeat that. The last Blockbuster Video rental place in the world is in Bend, Oregon, and it's still open. And I just think that is so awesome. They have all this like merch you can buy. They got the shirts, and they've got probably they're wearing the khakis. You can still rent movies there. I think at some point, I don't know if they do it all the time, but they rented the place out as an Airbnb, so you could like stay there. And then they kind of end up like, I love that, how it's like something that used to be so ubiquitous. Like Jody just said she worked at the one in Needham, and JC, nice to see you. Brian, that's awesome that you went there. Mark, it's good to see you. Gosh, I love this. Everybody's showing up. It's like a holiday party. But like, I used to go to the Blockbuster like here in town. Like anywhere I lived, I would go to the Blockbuster, and it was like, yeah, they're everywhere. And then as soon as something starts to disappear, it's almost like a dinosaur, or it's becoming extinct. And now there's one left in the planet. So the last Blockbuster Video rental place is in Bend, Oregon. You can totally go there. You can rent a movie. You can buy some merch. You get your picture taken. I just thought that was a hoot. And, oops, speaking of McMenamins, trust me, they are not paying me. They probably don't even know I exist, but I rave about them all the time. Bend, Oregon has a McMenamins, which is the old hotel at the old St. Francis School. Downtown used to be a Catholic school, and in 2004, McMenamins turned it into, and I had to cut and paste this because they did so many things to it. They classrooms turned into lodging rooms. They have a pub, a brewery, a movie theater, private meeting spaces, live music bookings, and a fantastic soaking pool. And then they added a couple of things in 2016. But so if you're in Bend, Oregon, and you go to the Blockbuster, you can stay at McMenamins, old St. Francis School. There's also the Tower Theater. So the Tower Theater, not like the one here in Philly, but the Tower Theater in Bend, Oregon, open since 1940. Now they used to be movies, and now it's music and live theater, and it's got a 78-foot neon sign in front of it. So that totally made me say, ooh, this is like, all of a sudden Bend, Oregon is on my map. Like, I didn't even know it existed or where it was until I started doing this. Jaxida, nice to see you. The McKay Cottage restaurant is a place you might want to eat when you're in Bend. Homey eatery in a 1916 bungalow. Who doesn't love a bungalow? I love myself a bungalow. So that's very cool. So a bunch of things to do in Bend. And I always try to do that. Like when I look at my maps, I don't know if, when I do my research, what I do, just as a clue, is I have some certain places that I like to go to online that I know I can put in some keywords and I can really do my research of all different things that I know I like. Now, that's what I share. I share the places that I like. You may have other places that, like, you know, light you up. I like to do the places that get me all excited. And the thing is that what I do is I research them and I say, ooh, if that place looks good, I'll put it on my map. And I put them on, and I will sometimes do like a little thing where it's like, oh, this will make me know it's a restaurant, or this one, like oftentimes if it's someplace I'm excited about, I'll make it into like a little like lightning bolt to be like, ooh, remember this place. And other ones will just be like a pin, you know. And then after I get all the pins on the map, then I kind of do this surprise, and I kind of zoom out. And I wish I could show you my map, but it's on the floor over there, and I can't quite reach it. Nope, can't reach it. And then I get to see what places are like a onesie, like off in Nowheresville, and other places where there are certain things bunched together. Because I don't know about you, but like when I travel, and that's what I love to do, is I like to kind of not be efficient, but like I want to get the most bang for my buck. So if there's a place, like I just said, Bend, Oregon, where I can go to the Blockbuster, I can stay in a cool place, I can have a good meal, I can go to something at a theater, like that is like, to me, the best and most fun way to do some traveling. So I'm just saying that. So I look for these places that are, you know, kind of bunched together. Now there are some one-offs, right? Like the Dales. The Dales is an area of Oregon, and it's kind of a fun little place to walk around. But the one place I will send you is the National Neon Sign Museum. National Neon Sign Museum is in the Dales. And it is the somebody says it's the best collection of American neon signage in the country. I'm not going to say the best or the worst because I know of a number of neon sign museums, like the one here in Philly that I love. So, but it is a neon sign museum, so go check that out, and it's a fun little area to walk around in. Yeah, Retro Road Husband is busy. It's kind of snowy, so I think he's out shoveling. Where did I go? Oh, and this was kind of neat too. So a couple of just one-offs. So McMinnville has the Evergreen Aviation and Space Museum. Now that may sound like your thing or not, and I'm kind of, you know, on the fence. Like I kind of like I like car museums, and like train museums are kind of interesting. Planes not so much, but this place has the Spruce Goose. Anybody know what the Spruce Goose is? Well, I know there's a delay. Excuse me, the Dallas. Okay, see? Everybody, if you're doing your Maud Betty, what do you call it? Bingo cards, and you're saying, ooh, I got the square where she mispronounces something live on camera and somebody corrects her. Boom, you got it. Thank you. I thought it was the Dallas. I see, I can't even. But thank you. It's good. Somebody just got Maud Betty bingo. In any case, the Spruce Goose is the largest wooden airplane ever constructed. It's only flown one time, and it was designed by, and you can tell that I was writing these notes and somebody wasn't. Exactly, Michael. I prefaced his name with the rich nut job. The rich nut job, Howard Hughes. And from what I saw, this thing is freaking massive. So if you want to go see it, it is at the Evergreen Aviation and Space Museum in McMinnville, Oregon. Okay? There's a bunch of other stuff in that museum, so it would be well worth it. But even that one thing is worth going to. Another place, and now this would be, if I had another show that was just the U.S. and I was telling about mid-century modern places that you can go and you can tour and you can stay in and fun things like that, I should pitch that to Hollywood, don't you think? The Frank Lloyd Wright House, the Frank Lloyd Wright Gordon House in Silverton. Now this is my mid-mod map. This is the one mid-mod map. This, I think there was another place I had in Oregon, which is the Gordon House, is a residence designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. They moved it. It's the Oregon Garden in Silverton, and it's one of his Usonian houses. So I won't bore people who are not into mid-century modern architecture with some of that stuff because it can get kind of dry and academic sometimes, even though I find it fascinating. But just know that there was a really cool Frank Lloyd Wright house in Silverton that you can actually take tours of. So put that on your mid-mod map, okay? The Geyser Grand Hotel. Now, if I could reach my map, we would be kind of on the east part. You see, Oregon has this wonderful coast, and we're going to get to the coast before we time out because I'm going to talk about food. I'm going to get myself all hungry for food that I can't eat that because I'm not there. But these are a couple of places that are more on the eastern side. So there's the Geyser Grand Hotel in Baker City, which first opened in 1899, a Victorian landmark hotel, right near the, not too far from the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center. And anytime I say these things, people, I got to share with you, it's like interpretive, like I'm doing an interpretive dance. Perhaps this interpretive dance will explain to you how I feel about our relationship. I'm quoting, I think I'm quoting Love is Hell. Brian, thank you. I appreciate it. So everybody, look, I don't say Brian, like look at Brian, but Brian is posting some stuff. I can't see it right now, but Brian he's so great because he lives in Mass where Route 20 actually goes all the way from coast to coast. So he knows a lot of the cool places that are on Route 20. So thank you so much. Charles, you be good. So where was I? The Geyser Grand Hotel. And oh, then this place too. So here's where I need to get a little bit more clarity. But I wanted to mention this one. The Timberline Lodge in Mount Hood or Government Camp the place. It wasn't the place that inspired the movie The Shining or the book The Shining. It is the place that inspired, and they did some filming of the movie The Shining. So I don't know if I would stay there because I'd kind of be scared. But if you want to go check out the Timberline Lodge, it's got that kind of history. Couple of other places before we hit the coast, as it were. The Union Fountain in Union, Oregon. Used to be a Rexall, and now it is a soda fountain. So I love some soda fountains, especially soda fountains that are in old school drugstores and whatnot. I know to pick up my map, silly. It's okay. And then in LeGrand, maybe I pronounced that wrong or not. This place called, I'm totally going to mess up their name. Houts, Houghts. I would call that Houts. 24 flavors. They're famous for their steak burgers and ice cream. And actually, speaking of, okay, I'll get to that when I talk about food, because there's a couple of cool food places I want to mention to you. But before we get to food, I got to share two places in Coos Bay, COOS. The Egyptian Theater. The Egyptian Theater is in Coos Bay, and this looks really cool. There can be lots of things, and this is one of the things I also noticed. Like, think about the fact that we all have been on a road trip, and we have hit every single state but one. So there are some things that you see, and originally at the beginning of your trip, you're like, that is so novel, and that's so neat. And after a while, you see things like it, and you get a little bit burned out. You're like, okay, I'm done. Like, I will share with you that I am over like the places that are trying to be old 50s diners with the black and white check floors and stuff like that. Like that's just not my thing. I am so tired of seeing those types of places. But the thing is about that, then that gives you the highlight of the places that really make you go, wow, when you're, because you're like, oh, a place like that, whatever. And then you see a place like the Egyptian Theater in Coos Bay, absolutely beautiful, historic kind of interior, looking very Egyptian, like walk like an Egyptian, because it was built in 1925. And here's a little clue, and I love this because I know it actually, is one of the reasons you see these kind of Egyptian-inspired, like not hotels, but like either buildings or primarily theaters and stuff like that were from the 20s, is because in the 20s, that's when they discovered King Tut's tomb. So all of a sudden, this Egyptian stuff became really popular because they just discovered it. So that's why you see these kind of remnants of that thing when that was popular. It's these different phases of things that get popular because of something that happened. So that's the Egyptian Theater in Coos Bay. And then when you're there, there's a couple of funky little places to walk around. And then this is one place, this little, what I call a funkified motel called the Itty Bitty Inn. It's a little colorful place, kitschy murals. Again, I don't necessarily, I ask everybody, any kind of places that you want to go to, do your due diligence. You may hear it from me, you may write it down, but then do your Googling and kind of ping it against your own heart to say, do I like that? Does that look like a place I'd want to stay? And if it does, that's great. And if not, no big deal. Because it's all about doing the stuff that is important to you not me. Like right now, actually, I've been taking you, it's like I've been driving and showing you all around the places, right? But really what you need to do is you need to be in the driver's seat and you need to be driving to the places that you like. It's me getting on my just drive, treat your life like a road trip thing. But it's so true, you know? It's so true. So where was I? Oh yeah. I couldn't do an episode without mentioning a quirky, old-fashioned kind of roadside attraction. And the one that I picked for Oregon is in Gold Hill. It's the Oregon Vortex. Ooh. They've got one of those gravity hills, if you've ever been to Gravity Hill, where you park your car and you put it in neutral and your car starts moving. Ooh. And it's also got one of those things where it's like, you know, you walk into the building and it looks like you're on a angle and stuff like that. And they've reported, ooh, paranormal activity. So that's the Oregon Vortex in Gold Hill. Now, I want to say I saved the best for last. I didn't save the best for last. I saved the food for last because Maud Betty is drawn by her stomach to some places and I want to share them with you. And here's a fun thing. So I'll get this one. This one is just so cute and there's so many parallels right here because I didn't realize that there was a place in Oregon called Rockaway Beach. Rockaway Beach, you know? Like, I didn't realize that, like, can you imagine if you grew up in Oregon and you're like, oh, that's weird. There's this band from, you know, from New York called the Ramones, and they're singing about the beach down the street. But in Rockaway Beach, Oregon, there's a place called the Original Pronto Pup. So the Original Pronto Pup is the people that say they invented the corn dog. You know, where you've got a hot dog on a stick and they dip it in corn batter and they fry it and you eat it. So the interesting thing is, and JC and I, we were in, when I did my Route 66 thing, there's another place on Route 66 that also claims to be the place where they invented the corn dog. So maybe there's like a corn dog war. But in Rockaway Beach, the Original Pronto Pup is the home of the original corn dog, and it was invented in the 1930s. So you might want to go check that out. Another place I love too, is there's so many fish places I will just mention to you that I can't even actually. But the thing that I love is when you can eat different foods that you don't get at home. That is one of the fun things that I so miss from traveling, so much so that I'm starting to be like, can we go to a different town and order some pizza so it will just taste different, right? And so the thing that I love about the fact that Oregon is on the West Coast and it's got such a seafood heavy kind of culinary history, and that I am from the East Coast, I'm from Massachusetts, and we also have a seafood rich food history. And the thing that I think would be so much fun is they're like, oh, our famous clam chowder, and we've got our famous crab stuff. Now, I know my favorite clam chowder, like New England clam chowder, Johnny. I like clam chowder, but it would be so much fun to go try theirs and see what that's all about. Retro Road Husband, he's from Crabland. I was joking. I'm like, well, he lives in Crabland now because he's married to me, and God bless him. But like crabs, Dungeness crabs are famous in in Oregon. And so I would love to try those out, but they're going to be different than the ones that you get, in the Chesapeake Bay. So it's fun to try different foods, but it's also fun to, I can find out what makes an ocean wave wave. I can walk like a penguin. It's fun to find out. Oh my God. Anybody who grew up in the Boston area in the 70s, I think you just know where my brain went. My name is Karen. But anyhow, they get oysters. You can get oysters out there. You can get oysters here. How are they different? How do they serve them? Like, I just love learning about places and cultures via my belly, So crabs and fish. Also cheese. So the Tillamook Creamery is a place that you can go for the Tillamook Cheese Factory. You can get there. Cheese-based American classics. They have wonderful looking ice cream. So bring your Lactaid, bring whatever. If you get a little rumbly tumbly, just suck it up because you want to get yourself some of this good stuff. And they had me at fried cheese curds. I love me from fried cheese curds. And I just saw that there's, yes, a big corn dog on the roof of the Original Pronto Pup. If that won't make a great Instagram post, I don't know what will. So thank you, Tanya, for recommending that. So a couple of places I want to leave you with in Astoria. I'm telling you, in Astoria, That was a little bit of a really bad pun in case Jeff Cooper is still here. So Astoria, it's got this one neat plate thing that's kind of like a historic place. It's called the Astoria Column. Very tall, what did they say, 126 feet tall. 126 feet tall column, and you can walk up it. It's got painted murals about the history of the area all in the front, and you can walk up in the middle and you can look out like, oh, look, it's a vista, right? And the thing that I love about this, like, that's fine, I get that, but this is where they kind of take it over the edge in a really good way, is that I read that they have a gift shop, right? And you can buy a balsa wood glider. Like, you know those ones? Like my dad would buy them for us, where they're all flat in like a little black plastic, you know, bag or cellophane. You take them out and you like put it together, you know, tab A into slot B, and then you get the flying machine and they get the little thing on the nose. So they sell those at the gift shop, and then you walk up to the top of the Astoria, what do they call them? Column, and then you can fly the glider down from the top of the column. It's like the mini version of the Spruce Goose. So I just think that is such a clever idea for them to sell those things, and it encourages you to walk all up there. So that's the Astoria Column in Astoria. Now there is one place in Astoria I wanted to mention that I'm not quite sure what, if it's still open or what the deal is. The Atomic Motel in Astoria looks like a fun kind of retrofied 50s motel. You might want to check out that one. But there was also actually, so that's for like the 50s pure, you know, the people who want to get the kitsched up 50s type place. Charles, like, so you're mentioning, here's a funny thing, I'll admit, like you're saying Goonies, that's where, like, I've never seen the movie. So I saw some things about Goonies, and that's where it's like, well, I didn't see that movie, so it's not important to me. But people who like the Goonies, there's stuff that happened in Oregon about it, so Google it. And if that's a movie you love, then you've got some stuff to do in Oregon. So there's that, but thank you for mentioning that. But in Astoria, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, this looks like actually a neat place. And remember I was talking about earlier about how you can stay in a meh place and it's like whatever, or you can stay in a really fun place, like a place that would be memorable to stay in. So there's a place in Astoria called the Cannery Pier Hotel and Spa. Ooh, spa. And that looks really neat because it's on a pier in the river. Thank you, Charles. Okay, I did not know that, as I say with my best Johnny Carson. On a pier in the Columbia River, they've got gas fireplace and flat screens and private decks, and kind of, so it sounds kind of fancy, but it sounds like kind of fun to stay in a hotel that's out on the end of the pier. And the fun thing too was, that I thought was very retro roadmap worthy, is they say they got loaner bikes, I like that, and then local transportation in a vintage 1930s car. So let's say you say, oh, I need to go down to, you know, the local something and pick up something. They will drive you someplace in their 1930s car. So that's the Cannery Pier Hotel in Astoria. Now, if you're hungry for some foods in Astoria, there's a wicked cute place called the Bow Picker Fish and Chips, which is like an old like dry docked boat that they do like a kind of a walk up. You know, you order it. I was gonna say you order at the window, but since it's at a since it's in a boat, I wonder if you like order at the porthole. You know, so you can order your fried fish and chips right there, num num num. Or the Portway Tavern is a 1925 pub with burgers and fish and chips, a rustic maritime setting. You know, you're on the ocean, you got to do that. And so that is Astoria. Astoria, Oregon, not Astoria in New York. So, any case, whew. So that is Oregon, people. Just a smidge, just a taste of it. There are more places. There are vintage movie theaters. There are 5 drive-in movie theaters that I know of that were listed as to go to in Oregon. There's places with car hop service that you can get your burgers. There's all sorts of old school places kind of scattered around. These are just the ones that spoke to me, that seemed like the ones that if I had to only share a handful of places, these are the ones that made the cream of the crop from Odd Betty. But the great thing is about me not sharing absolutely every single place is that when you go traveling, I have left you with the opportunity to discover some places that will be new to you. So instead of saying, oh, that old thing, you'll find some new things. So this was episode 50. Now, I don't say pay attention, but here's the deal. I want to just make sure nobody's disappointed. So next Thursday, do your shopping if you haven't started your shopping yet, because next Thursday is Christmas Eve day, Jay, okay? I will not be showing up. This will be, I think, the first and only time. I think I might have taken off my birthday or something in August. I will not be doing a Facebook Live, right? But I've already set up the invite for the last one, which is December 31st. It is also a Thursday. It is New Year's Eve day. So I figure people will like be around, you know what I mean, since we're not going in. Right, Charles Fenton, you are so spot on. So see you in 2 weeks. And then that's it. I will have covered all 50 states in the U.S. I have pretty much written a book for each state. And I hope I am encouraging you to, you know, travel when it is safe to do so. But what I really want you to do, seriously, people, is just figure out when you are able to hit the ground and go traveling, really hit the important things in your life first, because you just never know. The places that you want to go to, get to them first. Because as we all, like, we never expected this whole year to be like it was. So when we're able to go out and travel again, prioritize, yes. Oh, Merry Christmas, Debbie. That's true. I won't see you guys until after Christmas. So here, let me get off my soapbox and instead say Merry Christmas to you. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to everybody. And if you don't do Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy, you know, Philip Glass, whatever. Just be happy. Do something for others. Do something for yourself. Make the most of each day. And spend this time, this crazy time where we can't be with family and stuff, really ruminate upon what is important to you. And to say, geez, you know, if I only had X amount of time left on the planet, then what are the things that I would be laying on my deathbed going, shit, I should have done that, you know? Because my Betty says, she says a bunch of things, but she says memories, not regrets. And she says, treat your life like a road trip. Get behind the wheel, steer towards what you love, step on the gas, and just drive your life. So until after Christmas, people, it's my Betty saying just drive your life.